Hello and welcome to V8 Online's live and exclusive coverage of the Iracing V8 Supercar Series, brought to you by our good friends at Extreme Sim Gear, Direct Clutch Services and V8 Supercar Fan Group. I'm Stephen Sandman Clark and you're tuning in for... I've forgotten what round number we're up to. That's a good start, isn't it? What round are we up to? Round 6. Round 6 of Twin Ring Motegi, 30 laps. And as I stumble my way through the intro, I'll now introduce Corey Henger. Corey, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good Sam, and that's not the most ideal way to start up the broadcast for the night, but for those who missed qualifying, I'll be jumping in for Jay, who's unfortunately sick again, so hopefully he's out there having a good time, and well, not having too much of a good time, and hopefully getting better, but...
He just needs some someone to rub some Vicks on his chest and have a bit of a lay down, and hopefully he's fighting fit for the next round, and we can drag him back into the commentary box. So like you said, Corey, qualifying just finished up not too long ago. Your pole sitter for this round here at Twin Ring Motegi, Justin Ruggier. Great lap, 52.727. Got a little bit of a margin over Madison down with a 53.0. Josh Muggleton in third, obviously coming off that great win he had last week. Var Richies and Michael Fabian, your top five. Sean Kelly, Brad Ryan, Tony Autridge, Robert Hartley and Matty Hill in the top 10. So you see Robert Hartley's slipped up another spot now, so that's good. Paul Gallen in 11th, Clayton Brooks in 12th, John Latham in 13th, Tobias, we're going to get that wrong, aren't I? Pizzini in 14th, Simon Black 15th, Jason Brunton 16th, Samuel Collins 17th, Justin D. Genamenko in 18th, Chris Stone 19th, and Leo Ellis in 20th. In 21st, it's James McKnight. In 22nd, Michael Carina. Marty Atkins is your 23rd and final spot on the grid.
Yeah, I tell you what, Justin's done a fantastic time up there for pole, about 2 or 3 tenths ahead of Madison. But just on the Robert Hartley thing, he's going to be absolutely stoked. He was lingering down in about 22nd odd position until that late qualifying lap that popped him up to P9, so he's going to be absolutely wrapped with that.
Oh, you're not wrong, and we talk about how easy it is just to get caught up in incidents like last week, and it's so much easier when you find yourself a little bit further up the grid. So inside the top 10, you'd be over the moon. So we're not too far away from this race getting underway. You got any hot tips, mate? Who's your money on if you were a betting man? You headed over to tats.com. Who would you put your money on for the win?
Oh, you'd have to say, Justin with that pace, but we saw it at Spa, and Muggleton managed to upstage him, so it's anyone's race, and as far as tips goes, yeah, I'd try not to end up on your roof lap 1 like I did last season.
Hey, you made the highlights real, mate. There's a few people that slipped those into some video highlights, so you made that.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool, but not the most ideal thing with a field of this depth, so...
So the cars are just about to grid up as this 5-minute warm-up session comes to a close. Like you said, anyone's race, and I think the pace that Muggo had, he was fairly excited about the win last week over Justin Ruggier. So I know there's a couple of guys up there with a point to prove, and Justin's been coming on strong. He probably didn't warm to these changes at the start of the season, but it's definitely got on top of the car, and those ANZ boys are looking quite comfortable.
Yeah, they've definitely got a very fast qualifying car, and Muggleton's going to be very upbeat now after the win last week, so he'll be trying to go back to back and prove that it wasn't any fluke. And then you got Madison down, who just seems to be in the middle at the moment, and running very consistently. But Justin and Joshua that stole the show back at Spa.
So the boys are gridding up, and don't forget pit stops for this run. It's a long race, 30 laps around here, so it's quite a little bit of pit strategy that come into play. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out.
Yeah, I mean we're coming off the back of the endurance race at Spa, so these guys are in the long race distance form, and it is going to be interesting though with the pit stops. Obviously the new tyres can gain you an advantage if you pit early or pit late, so it's always an interesting one. I much prefer these kind of races to the fuel savers. So. We've got the revs rising now.
So the boys hard against the revs limiter. We wait for the green and it's go. Madison down, nice little start. Looks like you might get a bit of an inside run here on the inside of Justin Ruggier. He's not careful.
Interesting to watch Brad Ryan. He was rolling on the start there. I hopefully didn't get a stop and go because he was rolling as the lights are up there. Looks like everyone's gotten through turn 1 half okay.
Yeah, so far so good. The last thing we want is a whole heap of carnage in turn 1, but everyone's doing a good job. Oh, contact up front! Oh, it's Ruggier! Ruggier are down! They've had a little bit of contact, and that's cost them a heap of positions!
A world has just opened up for Josh Muggleton now as Ruggier and Madison down off into the sand.
Oh, we'll have to check out a reaction replay on that, but it looks like Ruggier just made a move up the inside, got a little bit squirrely, and just couldn't pull it up and cut across the nose of down.
Tell you what, that has worked out absolutely perfect for Joshua Muggleton there. Just saying how he wants to go back to back, and this is the best way possible way he can start. Obviously a long way to go, but wow. Oh, we got a car massively off in the chicane there. I'm not sure who that was. Got a car spearing off into the fence at massive speed.
It's Brad Ryan in the V8 Supercar fan group Falcon. He's fired off at the end of that straight and made heavy contact. That looks like that might be race over.
Oh man, what's happened there? He's just absolutely shot flying off the racetrack.
That thing's crabbing. He's got major damage to that Falcon. Just trying to see if we can get a bit of a replay. Looks like, did he get tagged? I'm not sure.
The car just shot off into the fence at 200 kilometres an hour. That's looks like it's gonna be day done for Brad Ryan, but that was a huge accident.
So the world's opened up for Josh Muggleton. He'd be over the moon just seeing. Obviously, he's not real happy that his teammate got involved, but he's gone from third to first, and now he finds himself at the end of lap 1 leading over, looks like Val Ritchie's in second, Michael Fabian in third.
Yeah, another great start for Fabian there. He's running well at slow. We've got Justin Roger up the inside of Sean Kelly there. Made easy work at the V8 Supercar fan group Falcon. Doesn't want to give up too much time now. She's got to get a move on and just try and get back up to Vale and Josh.
Yeah, you think these guys will hopefully be able to just slowly start to pick these boys off. They've had, you know, we spoke about Justin's speed through the week. He was almost 3/10 quicker than second place Madison Down. So slowly just starting to pick them off one by one, but the guys have got plenty of laps in front of them to make up that lost ground.
It's going to be interesting to see though if Madison's got steering damage, because Justin's car did come across the front of Madison there. So hopefully all is okay with the Tats.com Falcon.
Now Matty Hill having a nice little battle here with another TTR member. That's Tony Aldridge. Good to see him having a red hot go, but he's got Robert Hartley all over the back of him. And we're talking about Robert. He'd be fairly happy with his gain in the last half an hour or so in that final qualifying session, and inside the top 10 having a good battle with Tony Aldridge.
Michael Fabian here. Under pressure from Justin, as Justin has a big look up at the hairpin, got to pull it up there. Nice job.
Yeah, did everything right. He's obviously got a great car underneath him, and he obviously didn't mean that contact. It was just an unfortunate incident with him and Down, but he's getting on with the job. He knows if he just sort of puts his head down and bum up, so to speak, he'll start picking them off, and you see Madison Down a little bit further too. He's just made that move up the inside. He goes underneath Sean Kelly, so the guys are just slowly getting on with it.
Tell you what, that goes to show how much pace that Justin's got this week, because all these guys in his top split are so fast, but to make easy work of Fabian there, that was absolutely amazing. You know, I think he's got a very good race car underneath him tonight, Justin. Paul Gallen, a bit further back.
Oh, someone back there too. Sorry to cut in on you there. Someone having a massive moment back there on the grass. Lucky not to. It was Jason Brunton, but Lee Ellis up in front.
Lee Ellis trying to make a pass there on Sam Collins. Oh, sideways on the exit of the corner.
He's got to cover his line because Brunton will be looking to try and make that move, but Ellis just uses the alternate racing line, as Jay would say. These guys just got to find themselves, get into a bit of a rhythm, and hit their braking markers and just try and settle down. It's all a bit exciting on these opening laps, and we've obviously seen a couple of changes with the positions and cars making contact. So once these guys will start to get into a rhythm, then they'll start thinking about their pit strategy.
Justin Roger is absolutely storming at the moment, lighting up the sector times rather. He's pushing really hard to try and catch up to Vale and Josh there. Can't let him get out too big of a gap.
Yeah, well, last time round he was 3/10 quicker than Vale Ritchie's and 1/10 quicker than Muggleton. So Ruggie are definitely the man on the move at the moment.
Madison down all over the back of Fabian at the moment.
He'd be looking for an inside run here. Has he got enough car? No, he doesn't want to dive up there. He's thinking about it though.
Under brakes.
You can see that thing moving around under brakes. He's really having a red hot go.
He's looking a bit stronger under brakes, and you'll also notice when Justin got past Michael, it was under the hard braking points. So maybe these guys have caught on to something with the brake bias coming here this week, and they look very strong on the brakes. He has to look up the inside. Job done. Madison down.
He'd be fairly happy with that. Now he knows he's just got a little bit of a margin now that Ruggie has opened up, now that Ruggie managed to get through those cars a lap or so earlier. So these boys will now sort of concentrate, and so Madison may be having a little bit of a connection issue there too, but wouldn't be a round of the Iracing v8 Supercars series if Madison down wasn't having connection issues.
Yeah, if he doesn't blink a few times, he hasn't done it right. Black a little bit further back in the pack there, battling with Tobias, currently battling for the 10th position. She's got John Latham just behind them, and then Justin D. Shdimenko, I think it was, he pronounced it there earlier. Sam Collins and Paul Gallen still going at it further back.
Yeah, Lee Ellis is having a red hot go too. He's on the outside trying a bit of the crossover move.
He can get it done here if he's got to try and pull it in tight. Held up a bit there by ANZ Paul Gallen.
Look up the inside. Can he get it done? Doesn't want to make contact.
Oh, contact.
There was. They're
Gallen's
both
around.
gone. Lee Ellis has made contact, and the ANZ Falcon parked in the middle of the racetrack, lucky not to get cleaned up there by a couple of cars coming behind him. But Paul Gallen and Lee Ellis, unfortunate incident there between.
Yeah, those two guys were having a great little exchange. It looks like Lee just went for a big dive up the inside, couldn't quite pull it up. Unfortunately for Gallen, he has dropped a few spots there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a shame that Lee made a dive there, but you also need a bit of give and take. Yeah, it was unfortunate contact there, but I know Lee would be kicking himself.
Josh Muggleton up the front, just like last week, doing a great job at the moment. Got just over half a second margin to Vale. But they do have Justin closing on about a 10th or 2 a lap. Sean Kelly starting to range up on the back of Michael Fabian there. It was about 4/10 faster in that last lap. Fabian doing another. I tell you what, he's come on in leaps and bounds over the last season or two. Really, he's gone from a sort of mid-pack top split runner to now a real contender for that top 5. Chris Stone, big moment. Further back in the pack there, currently running in P20. Just behind this big battle pack with Marty Atkins, James McKnight, Michael Carina, Lee Ellis, Jason Bruntness up ahead. Nice little battle up in front of them guys as well, with Justin, John Latham, Tobias Thurney and Simon Black. Just up from those guys, we've got Matthew Hill, Tony Ortridge, Robert Hartley having a good battle. Tell you what, it was a little bit wide there, through the hairpin. Good run though off the exit there.
I was going to say, the only thing Hilly wants to be careful, he doesn't want to get Ortridge to get a bit of a toe, but Hilly had a nice run out of that corner, and there was no chance that Ortridge was going to suck up in that toe.
Amazing how close these guys are getting under brakes with some of these tight brake spots. That's one of the things about this track though, because it's got some great corners. Orchard uses a lot of the curb. It's got some great corners. You can really just chuck it up there and have a big dive, and the big braking zones. And it's one of the the higher passing rates in the series.
We touched on a little bit earlier. Justin's the man on the move, isn't he? That margin is really closing up. It's sort of 1.5 seconds now between Muggleton, Ritchies, and Ruggier.
As I said earlier, it looks like he's got a very good race car underneath him tonight. He was fast in qualifying. He was actually a little bit lucky that both Ruggier and Madison got away with that without a bit more damage, and possibly could have thought a bit of steering damage or something, but I think he's only in a couple more laps now and Justin's going to be right on him.
Yeah, well, if you look at the lap times for qualifying, Ruggier was almost sort of half a second faster than the guys in front of him, which is Varrichis and Josh Muggleton at the moment. So he'd be feeling quite comfortable about that he know he had that sort of margin in qualifying, and looks like he's just slowly pulling them in lap after lap.
One thing that's also going to help him is if Val can just close that gap a little bit more and start a little bit of a battle with Josh, it's going to bring him up a little bit closer, a little bit faster, obviously.
Just touching on the times a little bit, Muggo and Richie's both did 54.9s last time round, and Ruggier behind them, a 54.5. So yeah, you can definitely see, it's pretty easy to see that Ruggier's got some good pace on board.
It'll be interesting to see too the different pit strategies when the guys decide to come in. I've got no idea when the pit window opens here, unfortunately. I haven't had enough testing this week. I'm going to guess around lap 10, so it'll be interesting to see now if Ruggie's still stuck behind and maybe he pits a little bit earlier and tries to get that undercut on them, on the fresher tyres. Rob Hartley getting close to the back of Tony Autridge. Battling for 8th and 9th at the moment.
Yeah, we talk about it each week about when pit stops are involved as far as that fresh tyre gain that you can get, and if you can pick one lap before the rest of the guys that you're racing around, you can definitely make some good margins. So obviously that's what Ruggier and a lot of these guys up and down the field will be thinking about, because pretty much it's a free position just to jump the cars that are around you.
Battle back here for 10th position with Simon Black, Tobias Thurney, John Latham and Justin Gidomenko. Still going on, they're nice and close. It's like Tobias and Simon just pull away from those two a little bit though at the moment. Hartley still getting real close to the back of Tony Autridge here at the moment. You have to think he's going to be starting to think about a bit of a move. Got to try and get a good run out of these slower corners though, because coming out of that hairpin, you get a good run. You can have a dive up here at this hairpin. If you get a good run out of this one, you can have a dive up the end of the straight down the hill.
Oh, a little bit contact, a little bit nose to tail there with Autridge.
Saying hello, I'm still here.
Yeah, that's just Iracing braille, isn't it? Just to let you know that you got someone right on your bumper.
Gonna jump on board with the Powerbond racer, Rob Hartley. He attacks Tony Autridge.
Actually, might be a good chance. We'll stay on board for a lap, and we'll show you one lap on board with Robert Hartley around Twin Ring Motegi. As that all happens behind us, we'll check out this battle up front, because this is really closing up. That was a great little insight just to see how much goes on for these drivers. But tell you what, it's heating up now. Justin Ruggier all over the back of Ritchie, so it's a 3-car train with under 0.8 of a second between them all.
Yeah, it was great to see where Rob and Tony, where each car was faster and how the setup's working, but up front now, Justin has really reeled in these front two, and it's interesting to see that Madison Down hasn't quite gone with them, so one would assume he's maybe got a little bit of steering damage after the first lap contact.
Yeah, so easy, isn't it? It doesn't take much to doesn't have to, bend it big time, but if you just make a little bit of contact, it can be just enough just to change the comfort of the car. But, geez, have a look at Ruggier all over the back of Ritchie's. I think Ritchie's would be spending more time looking in his rearview mirror than he is looking out the front windscreen. Yeah,
Justin's all over the back. Now, this is exactly what Josh wants to see as well. Hopefully, Josh will be hoping now that these two get stuck into it and he can pull a bit of a margin, but it's looking like Val's doing a great job now to defend and also attack the back of Josh. Only a matter of time though, you have to think before Ruggier either pits. He has a look up the inside. Oh, Val covers, good job.
Smart move for Ruggier just to bail out of that too, because Val Ritchie's covered his line. He's more than entitled to cover his line, and Ruggier did a good job not to make nose to tail contact with him.
Yeah, that one was close. I mean, Val's going to make sure if he does that a couple more times that it doesn't leave it too late, because if Justin was already committed, that could have ended in tears there with both cars going around. Oh, Justin had a big mistake in the last corner.
Oh, he did. Lucky not to fire off into the gravel trap. Just went in too hot and understeered through the middle of the track. So, yeah, lucky not to actually fire off through the gravel track. Because we just check out a replay, he's just run a little bit wide. He's understeered and did a good job to stay on the black stuff.
Mark better driving there too. I'm not sure if he maybe locked the wheel or something, but he straightened the wheel, got it under control and got going again. So I'm not sure if he's locked the wheel and maybe had to lift off to unlock it, but so that's given about a second and a half to the cars ahead now. John Latham passed by Justin. Battles for 12th and 13th.
Oh, big moment back there for Latham. Got real sideways. Lucky to hold on to it. Just a little bit further there, further behind him is this pack with Lee Ellis. Oh, he's struggling with front end grip. Understeer, he'll run a little bit wide, and that'll be Michael Carina diving up the inside of Lee Ellis. I don't think Lee will have much of a chance there. Tries to run around the outside. Actually does a nice job to hold on to it. She thought he was going to give that position up. I thought Carina had enough to get round the outside, but sorry, up the inside there, but didn't quite pull it off. So nice little battle.
Rob Hartley, Tony Audrey still having a ding-dong battle back here. Still battling for 8th and 9th, and I'll tell you what, we're in about lap 10 now, so it's going to be interesting to see if any of these guys that are maybe stuck behind someone might pit to try and get the undercut on somebody. Actually, Josh Muggleton's in the pit lane. Done a good job there to get around.
Yeah, the first of, looks like Matty Hills, another one that's decided to fire into pit lane as well.
Good to see these guys doing a good job there. There was a bit of a hot debate last season over the pit entry.
Yes, yes, a little bit controversial, wasn't it? Sometimes, yeah, where people sort of would fire across the grass.
John Latham still dropping back.
He's had a big moment, just having a look, just trying to rewind some tape, and just before he come under the bridge, he's had a big moment and fired off in through the gravel trap.
The question is now, when does Vale and Justin respond? You'd have to think so. I mean, the gain that Muggleton's going to get now on these fresh tyres will have to be enough to bring these guys in on such a long track.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's something dramas with Ruggier, because Ruggier is a long way back from Var Ritchie's. It's, I know he had that moment coming onto the front straight, but I don't know if that margin is any bigger.
No, looking at when Muggleton come in, I'm not sure if he was trying to deciding to follow Muggleton or stay out. Because it looked like he straightened up before the last corner there and then decided to pull back left. Margo's back out of the pits now, but he's in traffic, so that's going to hurt him. If these guys come in this lap, you'd have to think they're going to. Have their teammates and crew members and all that on there on TeamSpeak telling them that Margo's come back out in traffic now, so perfect time for Vale and Justin to come down the pit lane.
Yeah, really interested to see how this all plays out now. Obviously the guys are coming near the front, near the pit entry now, so we'll see what they do, whether Vale fires in. Vale decides to stay out. Yep.
Ruggy's in though, Ruggy're in.
Madison stays out. Fabian stays out. And Sean Kelly's in. Robert Hartley's in as well.
Simon Black also coming down the lane this lap.
It's actually interesting to see how some of these guys are rolling the dice. Obviously, Var Ritchie's thinks that he might be able to benefit a little bit with, you know, we touched on that Muggo was in traffic, so that could work in his favour.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Ruggy comes out. Obviously, he was a little bit behind after a few mistakes, so Vale though. Yeah,
Muggo will jump Ruggy. Ruggy is only just coming out of pit lane.
And look at the gap that Margleton's managed to get. He's got 3 cars in between now. That's a couple of seconds. So that's really hurt Justin, I think. That little mistake and then staying at that extra lap has really hurt Justin.
Yeah, so in looking at that, you'd probably think that's going to be a massive loss for Var Ritchie's. Who knows?
Yeah, if I was Vale, I'd be coming down the pit lane this lap. Along with the likes of Madison, Fabian and Tony and all those guys that had to be coming in this lap. So Vale is sliding around a lot at the moment too, so maybe he's pushing and going to come in. He's actually having big slides out of every corner at the moment.
Yeah, he's got that added pressure. He's on, you know, average tyres. He knows the guys behind him are pitted and he's just trying to get on with it. I think there's no doubt you'll see him fire off into pit lane now because he's just going to be shooting himself in the foot if he decides to stay out too much longer and give up track position.
Got one of our regulars, John Emerson, over in Singapore at the moment, tuning in right now. Big good day to John.
Yeah, you lucky guy. It's half your luck being out there. We missed you in the V8 League, mate, but it's good to see you having a bit of a holiday. And as we see Var Ritchie's decides to fire into pit lane as we thought he would.
Madison down stays out though, so does Michael Fabian. Tony Orchard will come into the lane. Good to see a lot of these guys. I mean, not to sound too cranky about it, but you know, doing it the proper way, unlike last season.
So now we see what sort of gain or loss has Var Ritchie's made staying out. Muggo is now coming on to the front straight. He straightens up. Var Ritchie's still in his pit box, so I think he's going to lose a lot.
This is going to be massive. I think he's going to lose out to Ruggy here as well, surely. Here comes Ruggy. I tell you what, he's side by side trying to pass another car down the straight and does get done. So tell you what, that extra lap or two has really killed Vale. Tell you what, he's coming right out of traffic too here, Vale, but better tyres, so got a good drive off the corner there.
Jeez, that's a huge gain for Muggleton, isn't it?
Yeah, that pitting that one lap earlier on Justin was a good job, and you know, a bit of interesting strategy there by Vale to stay out that much longer because he's lost out a lot of time.
So with that being said, you'd think that clearly isn't going to work for Madison Down because he's actually still stayed out along with Michael Fabian. Tobias and Lee Ellis are still out there as well.
Sam Collins.
Geez, side by side, these guys mixed it up nice. It'll move up the inside. Can he get the job done? Yes, he will.
Watch out now that James McKnight doesn't do the over and under. Is it? Oh yeah.
Well, looks like a little bit of nose damage maybe to the front of McKnight's car too.
Now Madison Down surely will have to come in this lap. Here we go, Madison Down comes into the lane.
Yeah, you got to think Fabian would be in as well. Yep. So the rest of the boys, you got Tobias and Lee Ellis still out there to pit as well.
Tobias now in the lane. That's good. Like I said, good to see all these guys. You know, are all doing the pit lane properly this season.
Lee Ellis has decided to fire in as well.
So that should cleanse the field. Josh Muggleton will go back to the front.
Actually interested to see what sort of margin he's got over Justin Ruggier now as Muggleton crosses the line.
Down to 3.8 seconds.
Wow, yeah, that's handy, isn't it? Although we're, in saying that, we're not quite at the halfway mark of this race yet.
Yeah, Justin had the pace early on, but it's going to be a big ask. For 3.8 seconds, there's a lot of time to try and catch up. Once you get there, you obviously got to pass, so he's going to use up a little bit more of his tyres. You'd have to think, trying to hunt down Muggleton.
The one thing that Ruggier's got in his favour is we talked about his pace. He's been quick in qualifying. Before pit stops happened, he was about half a second a lap faster than the guys in front of him, which was Muggleton and Ritchie's at the time. So last lap round, Muggleton's time was a 54.6. Ruggier's was a 54.4. So he's got 2 seconds a lap, 2 tenths of a second a lap gain at the moment, and still half race distance to go.
Another driver a little bit further back in Michael Fabian had a bit of a slow pit stop, coming out behind Matthew Hill now, so he was running really well up ahead of Sean Kelly, just behind Madison down for the pit stops, but he's lost out a lot of time there. You have to assume that's all those extra laps staying out. He's given away 2 spots there in that pit stop.
It's catch-22, isn't it, with pit stops, because you think about your tyre life and all the rest of it, and you think, well, you don't want to pit too early because you give up that fresh tyre gain when the guys around you, pit and all the rest of it, but you want to have good tyres towards the end of the race. So, what do? Do you take the gamble and go early when everyone else does, or do you save a bit for the end? It's just one of those things. I guess it can vary each week depending on your car setup.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I mean, if you're in a battle and you just can't get past someone, I personally like to pit a little bit early and get the undercut. Or there's the other strategy, as you said, stay out later. I mean, you've got to make sure you've got a fast car, but stay out later and just attack towards the end of the race. And you can actually, we've seen it work in the past with John Emerson at Alton Park a little while ago, and both can work. It just comes down to the driver and the setup, obviously, each week.
How's his battle?
Sorry, man.
Sorry, mate, we're both looking at the same thing. Marty Atkins, John Latham, Paul Gallen having a great little battle.
Didn't Latham get out of control there? He's actually on the third.
He's on the grass. Oh, and that'll be a big gain there for, who's that behind him?
Actually, you've got Sam Collins back on Paul Gallen here. So I'm not sure what happened to Paul. He lost a lot of time, and Collins up the inside into turn 1. Corner. Got the inside run. Good job there by Sam Collins.
Gallen hasn't given up. Gallen's going to have a look up the inside. What do you reckon? Will he fire up the inside? No, not quite close enough.
Good job there by those two. That was mighty close to the exit of that corner. But John Latham all over the back of Marty Atkins at the moment as well, coming out of turn 4.
I love seeing these battles up and down the field. We know that we have good racing. Oh, Latham having a bit of a look. Not quite. Just moving around in the rearview mirror of Marty Atkins. Not a bad idea, but so many great battles up and down the field, not just up front.
It doesn't matter if you're battling for first or 21st. Some of the racing in this series is absolutely fantastic. I mean, my personal favourite racing that I've had was actually battling for, I think, 19th and 20th and 21st with Chris Tarrant and my teammate Michael McCabe a few seasons back. So it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to get some fantastic racing in this series. Michael Fabian on those fresh tyres is closing up to the back of Matthew Hill. Going to have a slight advantage, obviously pitting those couple laps after Hilly there. Just further up the field, the gap's down to only 3 seconds, so he's made up 8 tenths there, Ruggier. Val Rich is right there in the TTL Falcon. He's just tagging along, sort of coming for the ride. Fabian can't quite get close enough to Matthew Hill there in the track race, the Falcon. But a nice little battle still back with John Latham, who's rounded up Marty Atkins, and Paul Gallen now at the back of him. It's like Collins has been a bit of biff and barge tonight. They lost the spot back to Paul Gallen. v8sonline, Simon Black still battling for that final spot in the top 10 there. Looks like we've lost Sam in here momentarily, having a few internet issues. Sure, he'll be back relatively quick. I'll do my best to take over while he's gone. Great battles up and down the pack now. It's hard to know where to look because you've got cars battling, you know. Fabian and Hilly now going at it. Fabian trying to get a good run in that draft. Can't quite get close enough. He's going to have a look actually up the inside. Not going to be close enough, you'd have to believe though. Pulls back in. Going to go on board now with the Overclockers Australia driver Michael Fabian as he attacks Matthew Hill. Oh, Hilly's sideways coming on the straight there. That's not good for the tyres. That's the kind of thing that Fabian's going to be looking out for. You know, Hilly's making a few little mistakes there, pushing hard, trying to pull that gap back out. Speaking of gaps. Sorry, Sam, man.
Sorry, mate, I was going to say, it's exactly what you want to see, isn't it? When you're trying to chase someone down when their car's moving around, it's a nice little bit of incentive to get that margin.
Yeah, you know, when you're on the back of someone pressuring, you like to see them just having those few little moments, you know, lock up here and there, running wide here, maybe a bit of a slide there, and Hilly's absolutely on the limit at the moment, trying to keep Fabian behind him, but further up the front, speaking of gaps, down to only 2.5 seconds for Justin Ruggier. So in the space of about 3 or 4 laps, he's closed that gap in over a second now.
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit. We said that his times were good in qualifying. He was roughly about half a second on average a lap faster. So there's still plenty of time in this race. It's only lap 17 of 30, so plenty of time for him to close that margin on Muggo.
Battle continues between Rob Hartley and Tony Autridge the other way around this time. Oh, Autridge's got a good run through there. Maybe going to return serve with a bit of a g'day, I'm here tap, like Hartley served up earlier. I'll tell you what, there it is, I think. Got those two gone into it.
He's having a red hot go. I think he's pretty keen to get up the inside. No, Autridge thinks better of it. Hartley just having a nice run. He's just he's doing everything right, but Autridge is looking quite pacey.
Yeah, Autridge there. Went and have a look. Looks like Rob just went down the middle of the road, which is obviously allowed. So has given a bit of a breather to Rob now. Only a couple of tenths, obviously. Just looking at the gap up front. Another 6 tenths for Ruggie that lap over Muggleton.
Oh, I think the fans at Muggo Nation will be getting a little bit worried. I thought it was interesting through the week. The old Muggo Nation Facebook page has come alive after Muggo's win last week, and no doubt the fans at Muggo Nation will be a little bit worried about Justin's pace.
Yeah, I think a couple of guys early on when they saw the Ruggie accident might have been getting ready to make some back-to-back t-shirts. But I tell you what, it's going to be close as the laps wind down. Ruggie really has some pace at the moment. I'm not sure who I'd rather be. I mean, you know, it's one thing to catch him and then you got to get past him though. It's another thing. So, and Muggleton's, you know, he's no easy driver to pass. So, it's going to be interesting to watch as Ruggie gets closer and closer.
Let's also bring Vale Ritchie's into the picture a little bit too, because Vale's just doing everything right, just following Ruggie. He probably knows he hasn't got quite the pace there at the moment, but their lap times aren't too far off. I think Ruggie was 2 tenths quicker last time round, but could be a 3-car battle real quick.
Yeah, well, once Justin gets on the bumper of Joshua there, I think it's going to bring Vale right back into this game.
Just to this battle back here, we've got Justin Didomenko, Jason Brunton, Michael Carina, Lee Ellis, a nice little 4-car train.
These guys are all getting stuck into it back here. Trying to find a way past. Lee goes around the outside on Carina. Oh, contact. Oh, and Ellis sideways. Going to go back up to Matthew Hill though, and Michael Fabian side by side as they run down the hill. The back straight, and Fabian's going to pull up alongside. He's going to be on the wrong side of the road here though, and Hilly's going to hold the position. Fabian trying to get the over and under. Didn't quite get enough speed out of the corner there.
It's all happening there. You got that great battle there, and Ellis
sideways. As well. Sorry, Sam, man. Michael Fabian was all out of control into that last corner there. Just behind him, Tony Autridge and Rob Hartley still going at it. Aldridge had to look up the inside in turn 1. Pulls back in.
I do like how he's moving around in the rearview mirror of Hartley though, just trying to break his concentration a little bit. It's actually good to see. Oh, just trying to see. Looks like Lee Ellis has had a bit of a moment. He's there all by himself. He was having a nice little battle not too long ago. Looks like he's actually made some contact there with Michael Carina.
Yeah, a bit of a rough night there for Lee. I think he's had a few bump and rubs with a few drivers. Like Carina, unfortunately, is in the pit lane, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. But unfortunately, those guys are really going at it.
So up front, that gap is slowly closing. It's 1.5 seconds. Josh Muggleton over Justin Ruggier. Can Muggo go back to back? We know the fans at Muggo Nation would be fairly keen for that to happen, but Justin Ruggier, we've been talking about his pace all night. I know he'd be pretty keen to make up for that small incident at the start with Madison down, but I think I'd like to be in Justin Ruggier's shoes at the moment because that car's looking quite pacey.
Yeah, I think I'm the opposite. I'd rather be Muggleton right now. I know the one race that where I've been at the front, it was a lot easier, I think, to be, to try and just hold him back. Because, like I said, one thing to get there, but once Ruggier does get on the bumper of Josh, he's got to find a way past. And while this track does have a few passing opportunities, it's never going to be hard, never going to be easy, rather. Battles all through the pack now. Official gap that last lap was 1.6 seconds, so only about a 10th gain that lap for Ruggier, but he's definitely closing in.
Our poor director Seb in the background is going to have heart failure trying to keep up with all this action that's going on track.
Michael Tony Aldridge again, just moving around behind Rob, keeping the rear mirrors there full. So it's only a matter of time now. You have to think if he gets close enough, just chuck it up inside and go for a dive.
And while all that was going on, Tobias has made a move on Simon Black down the front straight. It's actually a nice little dive. I think he just threw it up the inside there. He had a good run down that front straight. So we check it out on our replay and made the move up the inside. It was a nice move.
Further up here, Michael Fabian is really starting to close back in now. Lost a bit of time with an earlier mistake. You're much closer now to the back of Matthew Hill.
You might be able to give us a bit of an insight on that setup, mate. How's it sort of look towards the end of this race? Is it pretty good with its tyres?
Yeah, me and Hilly were pretty confident at Spa. We found a few things in the setup that we felt really good with. The car was really strong, and we thought we'd nail the hammer on the nail on the head rather again this week. And like I said, I haven't done any long runs, but Hilly would know what it's like, and I'm just hoping he can hold it out up there and do a good job, because Michael Fabian is his main contender week in, week out. Every time he gets somewhere, he's like, "What's Michael Fabian doing? What's Michael Fabian doing?" And that's his aim. So.
All right, Muggo Nation fans, it's time to sweat it out. Josh Muggleton has a half-second lead over Justin Ruggier. We are lap 21 of 30, and Ruggier's got the mist on now. He knows he's all over the back of Muggleton's hyperstimulator Falcon, and I think Ruggier is set to pounce.
He gained a whole second. I'm not sure what happened to Muggleton, and we missed that looking at the bells back in the pack, but Muggleton's last lap was a 55.9 versus Ruggier's 54.9, so... And Vale's not that far behind, ran a 55.1 that lap. He's only about another half a second off these guys.
We touched on it a little bit earlier too. It's the old adage, the old Murray Walker adage, where it's like, catching's one thing, but passing's another. And we know that Ruggier's got the pace to catch, but has he got the position, the car position, and the grip to get the job done, to get the pass done on Muggleton?
Gonna have a look back here with Muggleton back at Ruggier. I'll tell you what, the one thing these guys, especially Justin, has in his favour at the moment, we're not racing Indy cars, we're not racing Formula 1 cars. He can afford to chuck it up inside and have a bit of a bump. Give it a red hot go.
Yeah, the old adage is rubbin's racing, as long as it's not too dirty, but we don't mind a bit of door handle to door handle action, and sometimes you see that with these cars, and that's one of the things we love.
Yeah, it's one of the things we've come to know and love in the V8 supercar and touring car racing in general around the world. Not afraid to.
Ruggier's pace under brakes? Sorry, mate, I think he really makes a big gain under brakes.
Yeah, and that's going to work in his favour too. If he can get to the back of Muggo and get a good run and have a good run up the inside. He was looking strong early when he was passing those cars after that first lap incident. He was strong under brakes. He looked very, very good. So, you know, it might be his go-to move under one of the hard braking spots. And I'll tell you what, this battle is really on now. Only 2/10 that last time by, and we've got Vale who's only 1.1 seconds off Muggleton as well. So, you know, if these two collide, we could have Vale getting his first win of this series. As Ruggier has a bit of a look, not quite close enough. Oh, Muggleton's a little bit sideways there into 3.
Yeah, talk about pressure. Ruggier's right there. And yeah, Vale Ritchie's would be loving these two to start battling out, because that'll really draw them in. And, you know, if these guys get side by side and lose a bit of momentum, Vale Ritchie's could be sneaking off with a win.
Yeah, you know, if these two get stuck into it, you know, Vale just needs them to trip over each other, and he can claim his first win. It was a big moment last week when, obviously it wasn't Muggleton's first win, but first broadcaster win was over the moon. John Emerson's claim to win this season, so Vale's just knocking on the door, can't quite get it done. He was strong at Watkins Glen, but just can't quite get the job done now, so he might be hoping for maybe these two to come together a little bit, just to help him out there, get the lead. Tell you what, Ruggier now, using all the racetrack. Really trying to have a crack at Muggleton.
I think he's going to make a move up the inside under brakes, maybe here, or maybe at the end of the straight.
Yeah, there's a
bit of a look.
I think Muggleton smartly moved over there. Once he saw Justin having a bit of a look, he just moved the car slightly to the right there.
Justin needs to get a good run out of these exits and get a bit of that slipstream, and I think no doubt he'll take the dive up the inside. He's thinking about it there. You know, he's just starting to think, oh, Vale's having a big look behind. Oh, nearly contact with Ruggier.
Wow, that could have been disastrous there for AZ Motorsports' Justin Ruggier.
Just wouldn't Muggo have loved that.
The Muggo Nation, they would have got a bit excited when they saw Val coming up the inside of down that hill. Rob Hartley and Tony Ortridge further back in the pack, got to try and look at what's going on throughout the pack. You've got a great battle shaping up up front now, but Ortridge still can't quite get that job done there on Rob. Further up, Michael Fabian dropped a bit off Matthew Hill again, so these two just going at it. One's quicker in a few laps, the other's quicker in the next few laps, but both doing a great job. Let's go back to the front now.
I can't look away from the front. This action's really heating up. Lap 23 of 30, and Ruggier is... mate, I thought he would have, probably got the job done, but Muggo's doing a great job. He's really handling the pressure well.
I mean, I think that move by, well, not really move, that moment by Val in the last lap maybe cost Ruggier just a little bit of time, but he's back on him now. Like I said, he's strong under brake, so you'd have to think he's going to go for a dive at one of these sharp corners if he can get a good run off this one here, maybe.
Yeah, it's obvious. I think Ruggier really needs to concentrate on his exit speed, and if he can almost match Muggo's exit speed and get a bit of a toe down the straight, that's his biggest key.
Look at him close up under brakes. Oh, a bit wide there for Ruggier into the hairpin. Oh. Didn't get the run off there. Looks like Muggleton got off that corner a little bit better.
Great pictures on board with Vale Ritchie's. He's just waiting for these guys to... Wouldn't it be good for him if those two come together and the world would open up for him?
Well, I thought Muggleton had a moment there. He just might have rolled out of it. Ruggier closed up massively. I actually wonder if Muggleton made up a lot of time in the pit lane just for tyres. If maybe he's even maybe taking a little bit less fuel and trying to get service. He's sideways off the corner. He's sideways.
This is it. Ruggier will get the move up the inside.
He's held it. Moment. Josh Muggleton's managed to hold it.
Goes from first to third, just gets on the grass, gets all sideways, and the world's opened up for Ruggier.
Tell you what, wasn't that a big moment coming out of the last corner? Just gets that left rear onto the dirt off the back of the curb and sideways on the grass, and Ruggier just missed it.
How lucky was Muggo not to fire it into the fence and not to fire it into Vale Ritchie's.
Heart would have been in the mouth there for Vale, because I tell you what, that was so close to Muggier Ruggier being involved there, and also Vale.
Well, I don't know. I think the pace we've seen out of Ruggier, now that Ruggier's got some clear track, I think we may see him just slowly pull away. But Varicci's still in there with a sniff. There's not much in it between those two. But, wow, unfortunate set of circumstances for Muggo, just coming onto the front straight and getting sideways.
One thing to watch, though, is, in all this time that Ruggier managed to catch up to Muggleton, Vale was there the whole way. So Vale has a bit of pace here on board as well.
Geez, I tell you, the old Muggo Nation fans will be a bit disappointed, but on the other hand, they'll be over the moon with his save, because that could have been easily a DNF if he'd fired it into the fence.
But Rob Hartley actually he's lost about 10 seconds there off Tony Hawtrey. Not sure what's happened there.
Yeah, they were having a great battle, and yeah, unfortunately, like I said, that 10-second margin has dropped him right into the hands. Yeah, Tobias is right there now, so yeah, Hartley's in danger of maybe slipping outside the top 10.
John Latham, Paul Gallen still having a cracker of a battle.
So about 6 laps to go in this race. Lap 24 of 30 around Twin Ring Motegi. We've seen a bit of everything. We've seen some contact. We've seen some great driving through the field. A little bit of pit strategy. We've had a taste of everything in this race. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a cracker. And I'll tell you what, Madison Down, he's been a bit quiet this race. Haven't really spoken much about him. Running there in 4th place. He's 8 seconds off the lead, almost 9. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to have a chat with him later if, he's got a big moment sideways coming into that turn, but Madison Down may have have a bit of contact damage from that incident with Ruggier, unfortunately, in the opening lap, so who knows. It'll be interesting to see whether it's that or if he just didn't quite get his pedals in time, who knows, but we're not used to seeing Madison sort of slipping off the lead.
Yeah, I mean, my money's on the fact that he's had a bit of damage, because that was a pretty big contact at the front of Madison's car to get away with that unscathed. So, wouldn't be surprised if he's battling with a bit of steering damage throughout the race.
Be interesting to see the times as the guys cross the start-finish line to start lap 25. Last time round, Justin Ruggier had about a second margin over Varicci's, but Vale's not mucking about. He's really hanging in there with Ruggier.
Yeah, like I said, Vale, Ruggier caught up to Muggleton, but Vale was right behind him the whole way. You would have to think that Justin does have that little bit of pace over him at the moment, maybe a couple of tenths each lap, but we'll find out as they cross the line. Last time it was exactly a second the margin. This time by Justin, 55.209, plays 55.559 for Vale, so out to 1.3 seconds now. Great little battle back in the pack between Marty Atkins, Chris Stone, James McKnight. Guys battling for 18, 19 and 20 as Chris Stone gets pretty close to the back of Marty Atkins there.
Has he got a bit of a run here? Chris Stone maybe looking to make a move up the inside.
Oh,
yeah,
big look.
Right on target.
Oh,
sideways! He's gone! All that work, but he hasn't made contact. And who's going to clean up there? James McKnight will fire up the inside and grab position too. No, not quite.
Good save there by Chris Stone. He was absolutely out of control down that hill.
He took a big dive. I thought he came from a long way back, but lucky to hold on to it and actually not make contact with both Marty and James. Oh, our source in the sky, our marvellous director has done a bit of investigating. We believe that Madison Down may be on the old G25 pedals possibly, so his new pedals hasn't arrived, so who knows, maybe that was part and parcel of his lack of pace, or who knows, it still may have been that contact that he had with Ruggier.
It's interesting, like he's down 9.7 seconds of the lead, and that's almost unheard of for Madison, unless he's had an internet drama and obviously disconnected, but Yeah, a quite uneventful night out there for Madison at the moment, just racking up the championship points. John Latham still battling Paul Gallen back in 15th and 16th position.
Not much in it, there. He has a look bit of the inside. Can he get the job done?
Contact
Again! Gallen off! Latham into the gravel. Looks like he'll get it going, but unfortunately, well, haven't we seen our fair share of contact in tonight's race?
Yeah, that looks like almost a mirror image of what happened to Gallen earlier in the race. When Ellis turning around, I mean, I think you'll see Gallen get the position back there, a bit of a readdress. He went in a little bit too deep. Actually, looks like he's continued on, rather. John won't be too happy about that one, but racing from time to time.
Yeah, sometimes you just take that dive and you know it, everyone's been in that position where you go for that late lunge, and once you're committed, there's no way of pulling it up, and you know sometimes it's all going to go pear-shaped and there's nothing you can do. You're almost a passenger, but it's actually nice to see the guys sort of readdress, and you know they know there was no intention there and they give the position up, so nice bit of sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's always hard, especially in a car that's this heavy, you know. Once you commit to something, it's hard to pull it up if you know, you're going to have a go, and at least it wasn't in the pit lane. Good memories of how we first met Sam, man.
Yeah, it's interesting having contact in pit lane, but that's sim racing, isn't it?
We look back on it now and laugh. Nice little battle now with Lee Ellis and Jason Brunton.
Yeah, Lee's had his fair share of moments tonight. A little bit of contact with a couple of cars through the field, but trying to get on with it. These guys battling for 13th and 14th, and don't know if Lee's got much over Jason here, but they're all Jason a little bit sideways there on exit, so they're both having a red hot go.
Yeah, Lee's been involved in a fair few incidents tonight. A little bit of bumping and nudging. That's fair supercar racing for you.
Yeah, wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
Just quickly further up front, look at Tobias and Hartley. Quickly up front, the gap's out at 1.6 seconds now over Vale from Justin, and Muggleton's 3.7 seconds further back.
Yeah, I think Ruggie has got exactly what he wanted, just a bit of clear track. He can just concentrate on hitting his marks, and I think the way it's sort of unfolding now, we sort of mentioned it through the race, that you know, looks like he's probably starting to have things his own way. He's been quite pacey and had his fair share of dramas tonight, but he's doing a pretty good job with about 2 laps to go.
Yeah, there's only 2 laps to go actually. It's kind of lost track of the laps there. Long race, but kind of crept up on us, all the action we had there in the laps earlier on. It's got John Latham. I think that was actually Paul Gallen readdressing there a lap later on, which is good to see, but looks like John Latham sideways out of turn 2. I think he's got some big damage on there after that bit of contact he had earlier.
Yeah, maybe his tyres are giving up a little bit, because that thing's really moving around. He's going to have his hands full holding on to these last couple of positions. You can see every time he gets on the throttle, that thing just kicks a little bit sideways, but definitely got his hands full, because Marty Atkins, Chris Stone, James McKnight, they're all ready to pounce.
Got to give a big raps there to Paul Gallen. I mean, he slowed down and gave up the position there to readdress to John. It's unfortunate that McKnight. Look at this little train here. Oh, it lays him sideways to get up ahead. So yeah, it's a real shame that, like I said, it's got damage, but full credit there to Gallen for slowing down and trying to get the position back as Latham.
Geez, you wouldn't want to be a set of rears on Latham's car, would you? Because they are getting a fair workout.
Tell you what, this has recipe of disaster written all over it. It's McKnight up the inside here of Chris Stone, which is going to be on the wrong side of the road up into the next hairpin now. Allowed Marty Atkins to pull away a little bit here.
See, Marty can see how much Latham's car's moving around, and Marty would be pretty keen to get past Latham, because he's having his fair share of dramas. That thing really moving around every time he touches the throttle.
These guys battling with 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th. Only 2 retirements so far in this race. Oh, Latham again sideways off that last corner.
He's doing a great job. I know it's frustrating as a driver when you're just trying to get on with it, but when the car's moving around like that, he's doing a great job to hold on to it. But we're hearing dramas maybe for Lee Ellis. He may be in pit lane. Is that right? Yes?
Yeah, maybe one too many knocks at that Falcon for the night. So, like I said, he's been caught up in the thick of it, so...
So up front, Team ANZ be fairly happy. They've had mixed emotions tonight. So far, so good. He's only going to come through the chicane one more time after this. He crosses the start-finish line. It'll be the white flag. One more lap to go for Justin Ruggier. He's been the man to beat in qualifying. We touched on it that he was probably about 3/10 better over Madison Down and had his fair share of dramas. But that car's looked really good all night, and he's definitely got the job done. He's earned this win tonight.
Yeah, don't put the mocker on him just yet, though. He's still got another lap to run, so...
Don't give me that commentator's curse, please. He'll kill me.
He has driven a great race. I mean, he had a contact on lap 1 that put him back in the pack. He had the pitting later and the slowest stop hurt him about 3-4 seconds. He lost on Muggleton. Then he managed to reel it back in, get the job done after almost getting collected when Muggleton went for some motocross action on the exit of the final corner. So he's done a great job now. Down to 2.1 seconds. So he's had to work hard for it tonight.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Sometimes when you find yourself in these positions where you're a couple of tenths on the field in qualifying, sometimes you just sort of, the green flag drops and you run away and you lead every lap and take the checkered flag without sort of raising a sweat. But Ruggier's had to work every lap for this. I think Team ANZ to be fairly happy with their car set up. The car looks really good, and to get the job done in these conditions, he'd be fairly happy with that.
A couple of corners to run now. Vale, Richie's just behind, done another great job. Another second place for Vale. I mean, he got second at Watkins Glen, so you'd have to think that win's just going to be around the corner for Vale. He's always close, but not quite close enough.
Start calling him Russell Ingle, because I think Russell played bridesmaid quite a few times there and then finally cracked it. So won't be long before Vale Richie's is on the top step of the podium. But tonight, it's been all Justin Ruggier. The ANZ Stowe Falcon has been brilliant. He had that unfortunate mishap with Madison Down on lap 1. But after that, he did everything right. Got past Muggo after Muggo had an incident on the front straight. But Ruggier comes off the start, off the finish line, and takes the win for Twin Ring Motegi. He'll be over the moon with that one over Vale Richie's and Josh Muggleton in third.
A great drive there by Justin all night. Like I said, he had to come back from some pretty big moments there, and Muggleton had a bit of fun as he crosses the line. Maybe a little bit disappointed in that mistake he made, though, because... he could have probably maybe battled on a little bit longer, but still a great job there by Josh to come third. Madison Down comes home in fourth. Sean Kelly, great job there, take 5th position.
Ran out the rest of the field. Matty Hill crosses the line for 6th. Michael Fabian 7th. Tony Aldridge comes home in 8th in the Hyper Simulator TDR Falcon. In 9th, Robert Hartley, and in 10th, not a bad job, Tobias, cracking inside the top 10.
Yeah, great job there by Tobias, come from 14th up to 10th in that race. Couldn't quite get the job done. Rob Hartley, further back Simon Black, just gets home over Justin in 11th. Hearing reports that something's happened to Paul Gallen on the final lap. Actually, I'm not sure if he's crossed the line there or. What? Wayne said no. He's actually going to drop out because wait for John Latham. The John Latham, Marty Atkins, Chris Stone, James McKnight battle still raging here. But,
yeah, we're just hearing reports. He's actually coming on to the back straight, as you call it, before you go into the bridge. He's had a moment, come out sideways, and he's nailed the wall.
Unfortunately, he dropped about 5, 6, 7 positions down that final lap. It's unfortunate for Paul. Now have all the cars over the line. Great job tonight by Justin Ruggier. Like I say, he had to do it the hard way. Sometimes they're the best ones to win, though.
So we'll quickly round out your field. It's Justin Ruggier over Vale Richie's, Josh Muggleton. That's your podium. for Twin Ring Motegi. It's Madison Down 4th, Sean Kelly 5th, Matty Hill 6th, Michael Fabian 7th, Tony Aldridge in 8th, Robert Hartley 9th, and Tobias Cerzini in 10th. In 11th, Simon Black, Justin Gidomenko on 12th, Jason Brunton 13th, Samuel Collins 14th, John Latham in 15th, Marty Atkins 16th, Chris Stone 17th. In 18th, it was James McKnight, and the first car unfortunately lapped down Paul Gallen in 19th, Clayton Brooks in 20th, Lee Ellis 21st, Michael Carina 22nd, and Brad Ryan unfortunately in 23rd. So we'll just wait as the guys join us here in the commentary box. A brilliant race. That race certainly had its fair share of, well, it had everything, didn't it? We had contact, we had pit strategy, and, you know, a brilliant win there from Justin in the end.
Yeah, fantastic race. And like I said, Justin had to do it the hard way, as I said, about 6 times in the last 10 minutes. Did it the hard way, did a great job tonight, and the action all the way through the pack there tonight. A few bumps and spins, but another fantastic race, the V8sonline series.
Not wrong. They really turn it on each and every week. It astounds me, like we said, we touch on it all the time, that, you know, so many good battles up and down the field. But another cracker race, and someone who slipped in the commentary box, our third place driver, who was really looking good there for a little while, Josh Muggleton, mate. Geez, didn't you have a moment coming onto the front straight?
Yeah, teaches me to look down at the fuel while I'm still turning a corner. Oh well, you get that. Turns out I overcalculated anyway, so it would have been fine. But no, it was always going to be tough this week with me going away on holiday for 4 days and lack of practice. We only made the race set up this afternoon, and even then we knew it wasn't great. So yeah, the world opened up for me at turn 3 there, and just tried to keep my head down, but the set wasn't good enough and killed tyres. So tried something different, tried to pit early and jump them and try and get a gap, but yeah, I think I made that mistake, and lucky I didn't put in the fence, I think.
We touched on the broadcast. We were actually quite impressed you didn't fire it into the fence, and worst case fire it into Vale, because Vale was sort of umming and ahhing on which way you were going. But I think Muggo Nation would have been wrapped if you'd come home with a win, but they were pretty happy that you saved it and brought it home for third, mate. That was a brilliant save.
Yeah, well, by the time Vale was coming past, I had no control of it. So if I took it, it wasn't on purpose. So yeah, no, I don't think we deserved to win that race anyway, with lack of practice and the setup work we did. But great drive to Justin, sorry, and well done to him and the boys at ANZ. And we'll come back next week.
What were your thoughts, mate, when you saw that little bit of contact between Ruggier and Down? You would have thought all your Christmases come at once.
Yeah, well, I thought it's not July yet, so it can't be Christmas yet. But yeah, it's one of those things. They happen. We've all done it, and take it on board for next time. I know Justin's dirty with himself about it, but you know, it happens. We've all done it. So you make the best of a bad situation, and he did that. So well done to him.
Oh, well, speaking of our race winner, Justin Ruggier, mate, you certainly had your fair share of dramas. Like we touched on, a little bit of contact with Down on lap 1, and then you made your way through the field, and then Muggo had his fair share of moments coming on the front straight.
Man, events, that was just crazy. But yeah, I'm disappointed in myself really, that first lap, and this track obviously with the first turn, how it is so wide, you can take a couple of lines through there and fit a couple extra cars than usual, and had a run and sort of was on the back tyre of Madison. I thought I'd be able to brake pretty much where he was, but yeah, he was already on his limit and pretty much locked my front tyre and had no steering, and he needed to turn in obviously, and made a bit of contact, but that was my stupidity. But yeah, I had to press on from there and had some events during the way, and yeah, managed to get back and win.
Yeah, it's a fantastic drive tonight, mate. Like I said a few times, you did it the hard way tonight, and sometimes they're the ones that you know, you really look back on and enjoy, because you had a few moments that big slide by Muggleson would have put your heart in your mouth. And just quickly though, want to go to Madison real quick on that lap 1 contact. Was there bent steering with your car, Madison, or just generally didn't have the pace tonight?
Bit of both. I made wheel-to-wheel contact there with Justin, and I turned across, didn't notice him up the inside there until it was too late. I thought he hadn't overshot the corner and made the apex, so bit of my fault there too. Didn't notice him, but yeah, made a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. It did tweak something. I'm not sure exactly what it did. The steering wheel was straight, but it definitely didn't feel the same afterwards. But saying that, I didn't get as much practice as I wanted this week. I don't think I would have had the pace anyway, but it certainly made it a little bit harder to drive. But well done to Justin on the win. He did a great job to come back from back into the top 10 there to win the race. Well done, Justin.
Another week, mate. You've had some pedal dramas again this week.
Yeah, I was hoping to get the new set of pedals for tonight, but unfortunately still on the backup set. So, yeah, still feels a little bit strange. But yeah, well, hopefully next week we're back to normal and we've got the preferred pedal set back.
Tell you what, it's a little bit strange up here in the commentary box as well, calling you back and forth and just not quite there, the lead pack. But I'm sure once you get those new pedals, you'll be right back in there and now challenging for the wins again.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, it's a little bit strange for me as well. I'm so used to up there battling for wins, and just the last 2 weeks especially, it just hasn't really been there. So hopefully we can get back on top of that next week and get some pace out of this Tats.com Falcon again.
Also slipping into the commentary box, Matty Hill. Matty, mate, started 10th, came home 6th. What was your race like, Bill?
Mate, it was absolutely hectic on that first lap. There were cars everywhere. I jammed it in between two and closed my eyes and come out of the corner and gained a couple of positions. So I was absolutely over the moon with that. And then at turn 3 and 4 with Ruggier and Madison, I don't know where to go. I was up the inside and I was all over the place. So I don't think I took a breath for 5 or 6 corners.
I gotta say.
Oh, sorry, Corey.
No, sorry, go on, mate.
Fabian and I had an awesome race there through the midsection there, and he had a bit of a situation with his tyres going off. I knew if I pushed him hard enough, they probably would, and I was very lucky to get that. So comfortable 6 in the end, and very happy with that result. It's new PB.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you must be pretty wrapped. I know going into each week that Fabian's your target, so you must be pretty pumped to finally get one over him. I know he's had the pace in the last couple of rounds, so got to be happy with that, edging ever so closer.
Yeah, I'm stoked with that, but Fabian was a lot faster than me, and I was just a lot luckier that I got track position with the pit stops all done.
Mate, coming into tonight, what were your thoughts on Twin Wing Motegi? Not too many people were probably real familiar, but what were your thoughts coming into tonight?
Don't mind the track. Doesn't really suit me, but I did so many laps in practice and just could not get the setup right. And I don't know if you saw me race during the broadcast there, but I was loose as the whole race. Just could not control the thing properly.
Right, well, I think that almost wraps it up. Boys, next week we'll talk to our winner, Justin, mate. Next week we head to Interlagos for the first time for the V8 Supercars, mate. What are your thoughts heading into next week?
Yeah, Interlagos would probably be one of my favourite tracks, like Twin Motegi, so I'm really looking forward to next week, and hopefully with our race pace that we had tonight, the car is really pacey, but I've just got to stop waiting for my mate off the start line and get on with it and try and get some clean air and be consistent, but I seem to make it hard for myself.
What about you, Madison? You looking forward to Interlagos?
I did a little bit of driving there a few months ago, and the car felt pretty good around there. It's a really flowing track, and it's going to be pretty important to get the setup right there. But hopefully I can get ahead of Justin into turn 1 again. Had a ripper start the last 2 weeks, so I'll be hoping he's waiting for his mate once again.
Well, you boys have turned it on. It's been some great racing in the past couple of weeks, so really looking forward to Interlagos. It should be a ripper. And Corey, mate, thanks for jumping into the commentary box, mate. It's always good to have you on board.
Yeah, it's always good to jump back into the the V8 every Monday night, every now and then. And I'm actually thinking I might come back next week because after watching Race of Champions, I'm looking forward to turn 1. Saw a bit of action there last time, so I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Don't forget our next broadcast here at v8sonline. We've got Race to Reality and, of course, the Grand Am Series all on Wednesday night. Really looking forward to some brilliant racing. And like we touched on earlier, that fantastic competition through Race Centre with your chance to win a drive in an Aussie racing car at Homebush for the final round of the V8 Supercars. It's such a brilliant prize. I can't believe that, us in the sim community have that opportunity, and a big thanks to Race Centre. But we'll wrap it up next week. Like I said, we touch down and we head to Interlagos. It's going to be a brilliant race. Going to be really interesting to see how these cars battle it out. But I'm just speechless. It's a brilliant racetrack, and the guys at Iracing have done a fantastic job. So really looking forward to it. But as we wrap things up, a big thanks to the boys joining us. Big thanks to Corey and of course Seb behind the scenes. You've been watching V8sonline's live and exclusive coverage of round 6 of the Iracing V8 Supercars from Twin Ring Motegi. Your winner for round 6, Justin Ruggier.